Hey guys, I might have not made as many videos in the last couple of weeks as I wanted. Sorry about that, but all of this is technically a side project. So in this video I'm going to be showing you basically 10 projects, side projects and main projects I've been working on for the last couple of months, and showing you some progress on projects you've already seen. This thing that you've been looking at for close to a minute now is a pick and place machine. And for my kind of business, so I do electronics pretty much every day. I have a good 200 designs to my name, and as in PCB designs, I have to assemble these by hand, and I mostly still do. But in the fairly near future, actually in the near past now, I have a couple of larger projects, hundreds of boards, maybe even close to 1,000 boards that I need to assemble. A pick and place is essentially indispensable for that. Just to give you an idea of the kind of order of magnitude that we're speaking, if you want to get a board assembled, ready to go in China, you basically pay an upfront cost of 200 to 300 euros in addition to the bare cost of components. So this kind of machine is basically, I get the value of this machine, which is a light placer from lightplacer.com. It's 2,000 euros, so it's like 10 boards assembled, and then I basically recouped the cost of this machine. It's a super awesome machine. I would love to show you more about this, but I have to go on to the next project. And you've seen this project before. This is the soil moisture meter from back in August of this year. So a couple things happened with this. This is the complete product. I actually have a like a stack of these boxes ready to go, about 25 of these units that I will be selling. It's a soil moisture meter. It just does conductive soil moisture measurements, and has like an ESP8266 on the back that communicates this via MQTT to a central web server or your own MQTT server, like a Mosquito server. By default, I supply 2 of these extra prong bits that you can put into other plants and can plug into the auxiliary connectors. As you can see, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 auxiliary connectors. So in total, you can connect up to 7 of these prongs in other plants. So one of the base stations and 6 extra stations. You get a lithium-ion battery with it and a USB cable, which you can use for configuring the your Wi-Fi AP and that kind of stuff. This is also made to be kind of a development board for ESP8266, so it's got very convenient, ready-to-go USB programming for the ESP8266, all on board. It's an awesome little board. So why am I not selling this yet? A couple of people actually showed some interest in the product and wanted to have one quick. Unfortunately, a competitor, actually kind of a friend of mine, I don't know how to say this, another forum member from Tweakers, brought out a newer version of his Green Thumb, which is a very similar device. I kind of decided I don't want to, he's also in Tindy, by the way, where I sell my stuff. I don't want to take away his thunder. I don't want to compete with that. So I'm waiting until the new season, so until probably January, maybe even February, I don't know for sure. And then these will be in the market for 35 euros. So here's another product that I've actually been selling for the past few months. You might remember this from an earlier video, the Nano Hub, a very, very tiny USB hub. And this is actually revision 1. This is, I'll show you. So it's Nano Hub revision 1. The very first Nano Hub that I made had a slightly different chip, slightly higher power consumption, and this one now also has ESD protection on the inputs and outputs. So you can fairly safely use this for external for adding like external USB ports that you can poke your fingers at and possibly zap. That won't kill the device. I've been selling like ridiculous amounts of these. I'm close to 200 now, or actually over 200 now. Apparently people like this product, and I totally didn't expect this. I didn't even expect to have to do a second batch because I got so many in the first one. But one common complaint was that there were not enough USB ports. So I made a second version. This is the 4-port Nano Hub. And if you're interested, this is now for sale as well. Has actually been for sale for like a month, I think. Sold like a couple dozen of them. And this is a 4-port USB hub, and as you can see there are not quite enough holes here for the 4 output ports. Kind of cheated. These are all grounds, these are all 5 volts, and these are the 4 D+ and D- connections for the output ports. So it's an open source product, by the way. You can go to my website and look at the schematics, and like if you're making a custom board, you can incorporate this on your board if you want to. I'm not sure if everybody who gets this actually uses it. Maybe people just buy it for their toolbox, I guess. And one of the reasons why I'm going to try the light placer to assemble a couple of these boards. Now here's a project that I've been wanting to show you for so long, but it's a bit hard to properly show you, and I decided, well, whatever. I'm just gonna show it running pretty much. This big gray box is my server, which is a completely custom design. And I kind of want to show you what I did inside here, because it's kind of an awesome concept, and I want to use it for my workstation as well. Alright, so this is very hard to get in one shot. This is what it looks like inside, and so what you can see here is this is a motherboard, obviously, with some low profile RAM and lots of wires on it. Obviously I've done some power tuning on it to make it more efficient, like there's a little DC to DC converter there to do some more efficient 5 to 3.3 volts, but that doesn't matter. This is my entire server, router, everything machine, extremely power optimized. It also supplies power to my modem, and it does routing and Wi-Fi all in one. It's also file server, everything pretty much. Runs a Linux distribution called Zenchill, but the software is not that important. What's important is, first of all, the cooling construction, which I find kind of awesome. And the way this here is a Pentium G1820 Haswell low-end processor, just running at normal speed. And it doesn't have a normal heatsink. What it does have is this flat heat pipe that goes up and then under, and the entire case is made from aluminum. I can actually feel here, the entire case is welded together. I can feel here that it's slightly warmer than the surroundings. So the entire case works as a giant heatsink for the processor and for some other stuff. And what I really want to try out is to extend this concept in my new computer, which is like a mid-range gaming-esque computer. It's got a GTX 1060 and that kind of hardware, to try to do completely passive cooling with this as well. Because the awesome thing about passive cooling, especially in a 24/7 machine like this, dust just doesn't enter, doesn't stick to anything. There is no airflow, so there's no dust, and there's no maintenance issue at all. Really like it. No, it's got a power supply that I wanted to review, but then had to build into the machine, and well, yeah, I can't really stop the machine that easily, so never mind. It's got this. This is a custom-made PCB with power measurement and SATA ports. So there's like SATA cables going from here to that board, and then these are little 3D printed carriages with the SSD, just a boot SSD, and a large 8 terabyte disk that I use for long-term storage. And I also do a buddy backup with somebody else, so that means that I store my backup in somebody else's computer far away, and then he stores his data on my hard disk. I actually don't have more than about 1 terabyte of data on the disk, and he has like 4 terabytes or something ridiculous like that. And then there's also this little stack on a 3D printed frame. On the bottom side there's a little network switch, and on the top there is a Wi-Fi access point, which is just an off-the-shelf thing that I power optimized again. Everything's power optimized, everything runs on. So the entire machine, including the modem, which I don't have any power mods in, is about 16 watts on average. Very low power, and it does everything for me. So here's another of my projects, and this one is not quite 100% mine. This is a laser cutter, and this is actually the laser cutter 2 from the Hackerspace. So Hackerspace has a smaller laser cutter, and this one was, I think, donated to them at some point in the far distant past. They never really finished it, and now the Hackerspace is moving. It's always kind of a mess, moving lots of boxes around, a lot of things that can go wrong. And as you can see, this laser cutter has a big vacuum tube. This is the CO2 containing laser tube, and if that would break, that would simultaneously break my heart. So I decided to finish this laser cutter project for the Hackerspace, and doing that here in my house would prove to be quite a lot faster than trying to do it at the Hackerspace itself, because just didn't have the tools handy, and the Hackerspace is kind of a mess right now. However, if you like my videos, you almost certainly will like the Hackerspace. So if you live close to me or to The Hague, the Hackerspace is in The Hague, visit us. I'm sure you'll like it there. It's an awesome Hackerspace. There are lots of people. It's basically always somebody around. Lots of cool stuff, lots of cool equipment to use. It's just a great place to be. And of course, the last project I definitely want to show you, the last physical project I should say, there are 2 more digital projects I'm going to show, is the electric bike. My god, this has been a very good buy. I did quite a lot of work on this, but it's not nearly finished. As you know, this bike is a piece of shit as far as the bike goes. Pretty sure this will break into at some point. I had to replace a couple of things, like replace the brake calipers and the shifter and all kinds of things. Most of the electrics are still original, aside from the batteries. I will show in the near future how I did this, but the batteries were originally 218 watt-hour nickel metal hydride batteries, which were extremely anemic. Even if they were fully charged, this bike would have very little torque. It would basically be back to 22 kilometers an hour, barely faster than riding yourself after 6 or 7 kilometers. With the 2 batteries, I could make it all the way home, but then I would have to charge it again, and the charger takes overnight. It takes 8 to 10 hours to charge it up. So an electric bike is a convenience, right? It's like a car. It's not something you want to babysit. It's not something you want to do special things with. You pay a lot of money, well, in my case 90 euros. You want something that just works and is convenient, and more convenient than any of my other bikes, which are a lot. So it had to change, and what I did is I replaced those roughly 400 watt hours of nickel metal hydride with a smaller volume and lower weight, but much higher capacity lithium ion. So there's now close to 1 kilowatt hour of lithium ion batteries in there. Now it goes about 60 kilometers or 2 hours on maximum power, but you would say, well, a kilowatt hour, that's much more than most electric bikes that get twice that range. Well, this one goes quite a bit faster now. This is not entirely intentional, but there are the lithium-ion batteries are quite a higher voltage, and it now goes like 35 kilometers an hour, even with headwind. So it's a bit too fast. I will be modding this to go 25 kilometers an hour again, so I don't need to get insurance and that kind of stuff. But well, another thing I did is put on big balloon tires. If you go that fast, this is definitely necessary for some level of comfort. I changed some other things, but the most important thing about this bike that I want to tell you is the electronics as they are right now. I've shown you they are very crap. I expect them to fail any moment. It's a small wonder that it has lasted for the couple of weeks that I've had this bike. Especially that because I'm pushing like 600 watts through a 250 watt motor, so the electronics also have much more to deal with. I'm currently designing electronics with a ESP8266 again, so I can use my phone in a phone holder as the display. Because why have a crappy LCD display that can have like a couple of characters, like it can only have like the speed and maybe odometer, and that's it, if you can have a phone with unlimited display capabilities. And then of course I want to show you how much power it's drawing and state of charge and that kind of stuff. So that is a longer term project. It might take until it might take a couple of months. Don't expect that soon, but there will be new electronics in there, and will be Wi-Fi based, and will be awesome and totally over the top. Also, yeah, I'm building a new wheel. I won't do another wheel building video. That was just for fun. Speaking about things that are just for fun, I have 2 YouTube channels that I've basically told nobody about, and this is the first time you'll hear about them, and probably the last for a couple of videos at least. The first one is my quote-unquote side channel. So a couple of videos on my channel are a bit different, not my normal content. And now that I have more than 1,000 subscribers, which I think is ridiculously many, maybe it's time to kind of give people the content that they expect instead of random stuff that I like to make. If there are videos that are like completely out of the norm, I put them on my side channel. And so one type of videos that I really like to make, but I'm just shit at, is video essay type stuff. And I've got one of those. It's a comparison between Game of Thrones and The Wire, 2 very popular television series. If you like Game of Thrones a lot, you might not like that video. So just fair warning. Another YouTube channel that I have, I actually share with somebody else. It's a podcast. So long form content, about an hour, hour and a half a piece. We now have 5 full episodes. And it's a podcast that I do together with Rio, which is a friend of mine. I know him from interestingly enough, a Minecraft server. I really enjoy talking with him, and we have a lot of like semi-philosophical, semi-political things that we like to talk about. For instance, in the last episode, we've been talking about Ex Machina, which is a movie about AI and robots, and we have a very lengthy discussion about the implications of generalized AIs.
I always found the idea of, I don't know, people being special or just fundamentally different from other things very egotistical, but you know, it's a real thing. And so I'm gonna say this: you can't.
I just don't like using a value judgment at all. There,
it's just can't prove yet, I guess, that there is no functional difference between a computer program and a human.
And lastly, I want to tell you about something that has actually taken a lot of time out of my day, and one of the reasons why there haven't been any videos for so long. For anybody who speaks Dutch, which is a large part of my audience, I've been writing blogs about our upcoming elections in March. And they are, again, long-form blogs where I try to explain, not in too excruciating detail, but enough detail, how the Netherlands works, essentially. I've got a blog up about economics and financial affairs, one about work, labor, and one about our healthcare system. And the next upcoming one is going to be about infrastructure. These are extremely complicated subjects. There are no good answers to, right? It's how do you set up a healthcare system? Design one within 3 hours? No, it's just not going to happen. Even if you read my blogs about this, you're only going to have a slight inkling and lots of links and resources to look at if you're really interested in it. But what I want to get at is that if in an election you really want to inform yourself. So what I want to get at is there are going to be elections. And most people who vote don't really vote based on specific points. They vote because they like a party or they've tried one of these how to vote websites. That's fine. That's how everybody does it. But if you really want to be informed and if you really want to understand how to vote based on the issue, then I highly recommend reading my blogs. So I'm now writing about the big themes. After I'm done with that, I will be diving into the election programs from the different parties in our country, evaluating their points, seeing if they have a point or if it's just bullshit. So that's something that's been a big time sink, but I really like writing these. If you can read Dutch, I highly recommend reading those blogs. I'll be linking them in the description. There are so many other things. I haven't even touched my power meter and the different power tests that I'm gonna do, which have been waiting since like April this year. I haven't even talked about like the new things I did with my tab welder. Yeah, buy my stuff if you actually want to buy it. Don't buy it randomly. That's just a waste of money. And watch my stuff and listen to my stuff and read my stuff, I guess, is the TLDW of this video. How long is this video?